Hey everyone, welcome to this new moon weekend Sidereal astrology forecast for February 21st to the 23rd of 2020. All right, so new moon in Aquarius. If you're expecting me to say Pisces just then, be sure to check out the link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations on this channel, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so new moon in the water bearer Aquarius, the side of ourself that is visionary and focused on the future, and in its highest expression, how we can contribute to something greater than ourselves. So really good to get in touch with that visionary side and focus on the future, and again, where we can contribute. So this new moon is going to be conjunct Mercury retrograde, who's here in Aquarius. So good to be maybe rethinking some of these future related matters with that retrograde. But all in all, the new moon's in good harmony. We have a sextile between Uranus and Mars with the new moon, so it could be bringing out our eccentric side, our unorthodox side, and also our assertive side and direct side with this new moon. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when I return. All right, so here's the chart for this new moon, and the new moon will be on Sunday. If you want to make the calculation, it will be at 10:29 a.m. Eastern Time of the Americas, if you want to make that calculation for wherever you are in the world. And as a quick reminder, we are going to have that Q&A here on Sunday as well after the new moon. That's going to be Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you do want to join for that, we're going to be answering some questions about astrology, the year ahead, the collective transits, and we can go deeper into this new moon as well. So be sure to join us. There will be a live Q&A link here on the YouTube channel that we'll set up. And again, that will be Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time this weekend. All right, so let's go and take a look here at this new moon. Here's the chart. We have the new moon in Aquarius, the water bearer. And so it's the side of ourself that is, if we think about it, you know, the person pouring water into the stream, it's that stream that we're all drinking from. And Aquarius is pouring that water. So it's the side of ourself that in its highest expression wants to contribute, right? Wants to do something, you could say humanitarian, you could say collective, you know, whatever it is. It could be with maybe even just our friends. It could be with our network circles, but anything that, again, invokes that kind of contributing side. But fundamentally, Aquarius is about our visionary side. It's a very unique and eccentric side of ourselves that is willing to challenge the status quo and really asking ourselves what needs to change, right? What needs to change? What can we innovate and progress in order to disrupt things a bit so that these ideals, these visions can be fulfilled. So really good as we get into this new lunar month to start to cultivate those ideals, that visionary side of where we can induce change, whether it's for our own future, for our own hopes and wishes for the future, or collectively where we can contribute to, again, things larger than ourselves. So this is going to be on Sunday. So, you know, this weekend, most of it will be about closing out the previous cycle. And so as we approach Sunday, good to kind of let the energies die down a bit, create a bit of space, kind of be receptive to what these new beginnings might be about. And then once we get into next week, especially as the week unfolds, we'll start to notice more and more of this momentum building for this next lunar month of developing this visionary, progressive, ideal, and contributing side of ourself with Aquarius. So we do have a conjunction with Mercury retrograde in Aquarius with this new moon. So it is good to be flexible during at least the first half of this lunar month here. So what can we rethink in regards to these ideals or in regards to these visions, or how, again, we can contribute? Good to be flexible. Mercury retrograde is a good time to rethink things, redo some things, right? In this case, rethink this side of ourselves. So good to be adaptive, try new things, experiment. Aquarius is great for experimentation anyways. And as long as we are adaptive, then we could be learning a lot and could be reworking a lot in terms of these future ideals. So with this, the aspects are actually quite nice with the new moon. we do have sextiles up to Uranus and Mars, who've been trining each other since the later part of just this recent week. And so in this case, it's not major. These aren't major aspects, but it's nice to have the new moon in harmony a bit. And in this case, it's with Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius, who's been in Aries. So there could be this unorthodox side really coming out with the new moon. Good to think outside the box, challenge the status quo a little bit, right? It's that same kind of energy, but it's supportive here. And so great to get outside of our comfort zone, mix things up. It's very much supporting that with this new moon. Now, the Mars side of it's quite nice as well, which is the assertive and direct side of ourself in good harmony. So we could be willing to take initiative with this lunar cycle. We could be, very assertive, very direct, maybe active with Mars, which is great. Now, Mars is going to be getting closer to the south node, so next week those will conjoin. And in that case, there might be some things we're releasing with that side of ourselves. So good to be non-attached with Mars so close to the south node like this in regards to our needs and our desires and that assertive side, just to allow for any type of releasing that might take place. Maybe some past karma, some past patterns, things like this, some thoughts in regards to this side. Just good to be aware of them, accept them, and kind of find peace with them. That can, again, lead to that. Usually with this will be a new beginning with that side of ourself in much more healthy and balanced ways. So non-attachment's always good when working with Mars. All right, so that's the new moon in a nutshell. We do have an aspect going exact also at the same time of the new moon on Sunday, and that's going to be Venus squaring up to Jupiter. So Jupiter, Venus, these are both benefics. And so even though it's a square, it usually comes across as quite positive. We could be feeling a bit maybe optimistic or inspired. It could be about maybe relationship stuff or our values or our enjoyments in life. But the thing with the square to Jupiter is sometimes it can create a bit of a pendulum swing. So if it's over optimistic or maybe not optimistic enough, or over-inspired or under-inspired at times, it is good to really work on this constructively. How can we take that initiative and action to really build these ideals, these inspirations, or things we might be a bit inspired about to make it a very constructive aspect? And in this way, it does become very constructive and even good for things like philosophy, spirituality, expanding our horizons a bit, adventurousness, things like that, especially with all these planets still in Sagittarius, with Mars in Sagittarius aspecting the new moon, Jupiter also here, and even the traditional ruler of Aquarius, Saturn, is also in this inspiring constellation of Sag. So really good to cultivate that, perceptual side of ourself, the side that's willing to expand our perception about what's possible in life and with our belief systems. All right, everyone, so that's the new moon in a nutshell. Most important thing will be this new beginning in Aquarius. This new lunar month will be about developing this visionary side of ourself, which is great for cultivating our future and eventually does usually lead to contributing to something greater than ourselves. And, all of us have a very unique role to play in the collective sort of dance, if you will. And in this context, good to invoke that side of ourselves, the side that does want to give and is really, again, eccentric, unique, and different in that approach, because we are all very unique and, again, have that unique role to play. So really good to get in touch with that side of ourselves. All right, and here are the aspects for the weekend in general. Again, we're going to be closing out the previous lunar month as we approach the new moon. And in this case, on Friday, we do have that Mars trine Uranus exact. So again, good for that maybe initiative and directness and unorthodox energy, which is pretty much strong all weekend, because even on Saturday, we do have the sun in perfect sextile with Uranus, which is that eccentric side. So lots of energy going on all weekend, but good to close out, good to let that energy die down a bit. And then as we get into next week, starting to notice these new beginnings. And on Sunday, maybe setting some intentions in terms of developing this Aquarian progressive side of ourself moving forward. All right. So everyone have a fantastic weekend. Again, be sure to check out the Q&A link, which I'll post on the YouTube channel, which will be on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to join for that and look forward to seeing most of you there. Have a good weekend. Take care.